Okay.
I'm on the verge of tears.
Oh, Jess.
Oh, you're like, fucking hell, we haven't even said hello.
Jessie.
They're about to fall. I always do this, Joe.
Oh,
Like, what are you
Jess.
doing? I'm like, I'm trying to keep them in.
Oh, yeah. This face will be familiar to a lot of you who've been around these parts for a very long time. This is my sister, Jessie B.
Hi.
And we used to collab together all the time for years. We did a collab when I first started my YouTube channel when you were only like 15.
I was so young.
And my followers were always like, oh, Jessie has to start a YouTube channel, and it's been her job for years. Like, she's kicking ass. Like, you're doing such a good job. You've not seen her on here for a very long time. And
Oh, well, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm so sorry. It's okay.
aside from the fact that there was a global pandemic and a baby, we also fell out like really bad
Yeah.
last year, and we didn't talk for a few months, and that's the longest, you know, since you were probably a kid. I was in college, and like there was probably bigger gaps before where we didn't like see each other.
Yeah.
Jess,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I'm
Don't
not
apologise. Don't apologise.
I'm just so miserable.
But we wanted to make a video about this, like about you know, kind of what happened, but also just like, you know, sorting things out after an argument, because I'm sure a lot of you can apply that in your own lives, in relationships and in family relationships, friend relationships, but also because like both of us got some really awful comments during the time that we'd fallen out, because it maybe some people were being a little bit like observant, very observant of like us. We weren't following each other for a little while on social media and stuff like that, and there was just like awful comments on both ends. Like, you know, I was getting them like, you don't care about your sister's mental health.
They were basically saying like, if Melanie died tomorrow, would you be happy with how you left things? And it was kind of like, fucking hell,
Yeah.
like, man, like,
People who don't know the story
Yeah.
or anything like that. And
they don't
just-
even know one side, let alone
Yeah,
both
both
sides. We never said it online. We never addressed it. So, like, people had figured it out themselves. Like,
Yeah.
people had, like, noticed we were following each other. Like, so it wasn't even, like...
I understand them being interested.
Yeah,
I
of
understand the
course.
concern and all that.
I've been there. Like, people
Yeah.
I follow, and I'm like, what happened? Like, you know...
But there's like, I think the two of us have probably like, we've sectioned off parts of our lives that we don't put online anymore. Like, I don't share like 99% of my relationship with my son and my life with my son. And I like to share like little moments here and there and stuff. But me and Jessie were very, you saw us like talk before about that we'd argue. Like, I'm sure there's clips of us being like, we just had a big fight.
Oh, yeah.
We fought so much the first time we tried to film this.
We won't even go
We
into
almost
it.
killed each other, okay?
Before I went away, we had a big fight. It kicked off on the phone, and
I was meant to be coming down the next day, and then she was like, I don't want you up here, and I was like, I wasn't going to come up here anyway, I don't want to see you. I blew over within a couple of days.
yeah, you know,
Like, we had a couple of bad fights before.
yeah, but
like,
we'd make up immediately.
straight away, like, it'd never even been like a week where we hadn't gone without talking. Like, it was always very kind of in the moment arguments, whereas this was very different.
Really different, yeah. Did a number on our relationship. Like, we both got, like, you know, we were talking about it earlier, we got a bit upset about that, like, we're not as close anymore. Like, we're
It's
just
definitely
not as close anymore.
Done damage to our relationship.
And that's why we wanted to do a video, because like this is
Yeah.
how we became close.
Yeah.
You know, because like when Jessie started her channel, like every time we would hang out was like around doing videos.
Mel the smell, Jess the mess. We are sisters, we're the best.
We would have this whole like 2-3 day thing where we'd have like sleepovers and meals and like chicken.
I'm so sorry, this is just a disaster.
I'm gonna try so hard not to cry. Like I have done a lot of crying online in the last year. YouTube really has like brought us together, and it's been very strange not having each other in each other's lives recently,
Yeah.
with so much going on for both of us. Like, you know, I've gotten married and had a baby. Jessie has relocated. She's gone through a massive breakup. She is in a relationship now with someone she has been crazy about for years, and she used to always like message me about this guy, and he just came up and up and up over the years, and like they're together now, and it's like, do you get these comments? It's like, oh, it's like normal people in real life if it was an alternative ending. I get that as well.
I guess I'm really odd.
We've both had a lot of things going on that we've missed out on because of this like fucking bomb going off in our relationship, and it's so sad. And like, I think it was exasperated a lot by like obviously there was the pandemic situation, so we couldn't meet up with each other. There was rules literally around us leaving our counties. We weren't able to meet up and actually address it in person and
sort like things 5 kilometers we could go.
Yeah. And then on my end, it was the fact that I had like a newborn latched to my chest, and I had a bad birth injury, and I couldn't really get out of the bed, and I felt very helpless in the whole situation and stuff. So like
and then like it was also kind of a case of, so like what had happened, like what the follow like was about and what happened. Melanie wasn't also aware of all the context around that from like the prior like year, and I was very conscious to not put any of that on Melanie because she was pregnant, and I know the way she is, like she can get very stressed, and I didn't want that to affect her or affect the baby's health. And I also knew like how like great it was that you were pregnant, and like for me, you know how like much I want kids, that like it's like just like a dream. So like I just really wanted it to be like the best experience it could be for you, so I didn't want to like put any like burdens on you of like my own shit and what was going on. And then I think from like
I'll cut this, sorry, we just need a minute,
don't mind the streaky makeup. Okay. But yeah, so I was kind of very
The first video was always going to be hard. The first video back.
Yeah. I was kind of like really aware of like your place in life.
You were trying to be a good sister.
Yeah.
You were trying to be supportive and stuff. I know, and like that like kills me though, because like I've always been very much like a main person for you, like a pillar of support, and the fact that like you weren't coming to me and telling me the reality of what was going on. Like I had a certain image of what was going on in Jessica's life at the time, and that was not the reality at all. And I had an inkling though. I did have, I had an inkling because I was always kind of like digging on calls.
Yeah. And then I was also like really isolated because of where I was living with the pandemic, and so.
And there was a lot of stuff anyway, but essentially there was just an enormous miscommunication on both ends and enormous misunderstanding on both ends. But there was also still like stuff said that shouldn't have been said. And like it was just like one text conversation, and this has like literally put me off texting. I can't stand texting people now because like I just feel like it's so difficult. It's so easy to misread, and it's also so easy to like say something that doesn't come across how you mean it. And like,
well, my therapist told me that like in a conversation, 70% is tone and only 30% is what you're actually saying.
Wow.
So like if that doesn't communicate to you how important the tone is,
yeah,
and like tone expresses empathy, understanding, love, care. And without that, none of that is there.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm the same now. Like I don't really text anyone now. Like that's really traumatized me. Like
yes.
But and then obviously with it kind of falling into the pandemic, like I feel like it
was so bad. And I also like so or just throw in right the baby and the pandemic. That wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
The whole fight wouldn't have happened. You know that. Like, because it just would have been completely different.
Yeah.
I don't mean that the conversation would have happened, but the follow-up wouldn't have happened the way it did.
Yeah.
Like, the follow-up wouldn't have been the
well,
two
I
of
probably
us.
would have been here that night. Do you know, like, if baby and things.
Yeah.
So, like,
it and would also, have been like, it wouldn't have been a thing where we were sending each other these, like, all-cap messages of, like, Anyway, obviously, like, can't go into the details of that because it involves other people and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I'd even say it's only in like the last month we've started texting more, and do you know what I mean? Like it's been a very
feeling
slow,
normal again.
Even like feeling like comfortable to like say whatever. So, it's been like when a big falling out like that happens, it's a very long process to get back to where you want to be or where you were.
And also some people won't want to go back to it, like, and you had a moment of that where you were like, that's it.
Okay, so this is it. Like me and Mel were saying earlier, like that because like it was months where we didn't speak, and Melanie was saying earlier that like that went on too long for her, and like that she was like,
I was getting really upset. I was more so upset because I wanted to be like the way you were saying earlier, you were like, I don't really have many pictures with him and stuff like that. Like, that's what I mean, like, stuff like that. Like, I wanted
a relationship.
I didn't want in the future for, like, you to look back and have any regrets of, like, not being around him or him not being around you. And all, I kept, because children, you know this if you have a baby, like, a baby is, like, time personified. Like, you're looking at them and you see the days and the weeks and the months going by, because they wake up and they look different and they're doing things that they couldn't do yesterday. So that was making it way more obvious to me how much time was going
at that point. Like, I was in my head, like, I didn't want a relationship with us anymore. Like, to me, like, our relationship was gone. It was done. And you were really shocked when I said that earlier. Like, to me, it was like,
because it wasn't as serious to me, I think, because of, I was very frustrated with the fact that, like, there wasn't the context provided. Therefore, like, in my mind, I was like, how could I have reacted any differently when I didn't know? You know what I mean? And because, like, I was chained to the bed with the baby and I felt very helpless in the situation and stuff like that. But that didn't change how Jessie felt in the moment. And, like...
and then, like, my... like from my side, how it all looked with the context. Did you know, or not? Like, how that was viewed to me. So, like, we were kind of having two very different experiences of the same fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's like they say.
Because when you unfollowed me first on Instagram and like someone else was just like, your sister doesn't follow you anymore. Like, what happened? I was like, I didn't even notice that you unfollowed me. Like, I didn't check things like that, whatever. But I remember I was so shocked and upset, and I was like, God, this is bad. Yeah. That's when I realised how bad it was.
Yeah.
At first I was kind of like, oh, we'll sort this out as soon as we see each other. And then I was like, oh no, like, because you don't, like, because there's going to be a long time before we can see each other anyway. But it's gone beyond that for Jessie. Yeah. Because she can't even look at my social media.
And that was it. Like, I had a lot of comments from that, which really upset me, saying, like, that was childish, immature, unnecessary. Like, but it was like... But no, like, because to me, seeing Melanie at that point, boundaries, and it was like a trigger. Like, I was seeing Melanie in my head, so I needed to get myself out of that place and get, like, you know, try and get myself back into a better, more stable place.
Before you could address the argument.
Yeah, like, that was not top priority for me, like, my mental health, like, and how I was fucking feeling and all. So, and then, like...
Yeah, like,
so many things had changed in my life. I just moved home and kind of, like, you know, it was like a big, which I'd never expected to kind of end up back
in that situation. I know. Like, that's what I was about to say. If you guys don't follow Jessie, like, and like, so she talks a lot about mental health stuff on her channel, and I definitely would recommend subscribing to her if you're in the middle of going through a lot of that stuff. Because we were even saying this, it can be very hard for me because, like, firstly, like, we've never been, like, even at my worst times, I've not experienced the same difficulties and struggles as Jess. So, like, a lot of the time, stuff that, like, if I'm, like, reflecting back and I'm like, oh, I got through this by doing this and blah, 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 like, it's not going to help her. You know what I mean? And, like...
I was saying that to Mel last night. It's kind of like, you know, but it's like, but, see... I understand what you're saying, but, like, just say you're always here, but, like, I'm down here. So the things that are going to help you
are not going to help
me. They are useless to me. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So, and then that can kind of come across as dismissive, even though it doesn't mean to be. Yeah. It's like, because you're like, you don't fucking get it. Like, you know, you just feel so frustrated inside. Yeah. And
yeah, so, like, anyway, in terms of, like, a big, huge argument and stuff, if you, like, really have a bad falling out with someone, you need to first sit back and, like, assess, like, right, do I want this to be resolved? Like, is this worth fixing and salvaging? And, like, both of us decided that, yes, like, our relationship was important enough to both of us to figure out how to get past that, even though it was such a bad dip, you know? Like,
something that I feel like is important to say, though, as well, is that if you have had a falling out, like, whatever, like, sometimes one person might need longer to make that, like, you know, it took me quite a long time to be like, okay, actually, now I'm ready, I want to talk, like, I do want our relationship to, you know, us to fix it, but I wasn't in that headspace for a long time, so just because someone's not in that headspace initially, it doesn't mean they're not going to get there.
Yeah. And I do think, like, and I'm not saying this to be dismissive of your age at all, but I do think that, like, when you're younger, you're still in the process of learning how to navigate big arguments like that, because when I was younger it would take me a lot longer to figure those things out. Like, I feel like at my point in life now, like, I just know that no matter what would happen between me and you, like, I would want it to be sorted out. I just got, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was because I never felt that kind of hurt from you.
Yeah.
So that was what it was to me, like, that it cut really deep. So it was like, whereas with other people, the fight, it wouldn't be as, like, so important to me or hurt because, but it was because, like, we've been so close for so long that, and as you said, like, you know, you were someone who I did go to a lot and stuff, like, before that happened, and like before you got pregnant, I'd say, once you got pregnant, I laid off like a lot. There was like a couple times where I rang you, but that was it.
Yeah, like deciding firstly that you want to sort it out, but then it's like, this is where it just gets really tough, and this is why, like, a lot of people, like, they'll have someone and they'll have a fallout and it'll just go on and on and on and on because neither party is willing to be extremely vulnerable in, like, sitting down and, like, hashing it out. And it's really, really hard to say, like, well, actually, like, this is from my point of view what happened and what you did and how it made me feel, and this is my perspective on it. And
that was a really hard conversation.
Yeah, because on both ends there was like loads of things about the whole thing I was seeing completely differently, and I was so angry and so upset, and, like, she was so angry and so upset, and, like, we were both being angry and upset at different things for different reasons, and like, all of it as well, again, was, like, very much bad communication, like, underpinned by the pandemic, underpinned by a newborn baby. Like, there's just a huge amount of layers wrapped up in it, and it just all exploded. And yeah, we had to, like, first have one big main conversation of, like, putting things out on the table, and, like, I was just not gonna, like, let that ruin our relationship. Like, there was no way. Like, I kept saying to Thomas, I was like this has to get sorted out. Like, I got to a point where I was like, I'm gonna unfollow her back. Like, and I felt like a gobshite immediately. I was like, I am sinking here. Like, I am, like, regressing. Like, I am being like a child, being like, you know. I don't know why I did that, and because now obviously, like, it was hard for me seeing you on social media when I knew you weren't following me, and I knew, you know, and I knew, like, also, you know, it is the way it is with social media. Like, you post, like, highlights of things, but, like, there's obviously a lot going on behind the scenes, and, like, it was just really hard for me to see you post and continue, and for me to keep posting knowing what we'd actually gone through, and, like, not being able to talk about it online because it was so fresh and raw. It just happened in a moment of, like, pure madness. And
but you said at that point you were feeling quite resentful, so that was why, probably.
I was, because I was like, how can, like, in my head I was like, it was such a silly, because in my...
but to me it was.
I know, but the reason it was silly on my end is because of what you perceived if it wasn't firstly intended, or like what was said under, in my head, completely different context.
Yeah.
You know? And under that different context, I felt like it was the only thing that could have been done or said, you know? When it came to making up, like, the steps, you know, how would you outline the steps that we took? Giving each other space to cool off, first of all.
Yeah, that took her a long time for her to accept that space. I actually had to mess her. I said, Melanie,
I needed you though. Like, I needed you. I don't have other sisters. Like, I had a baby. Like, I felt so, like, can we not just put this on pause just momentarily, because I was sinking.
What happened to me then was I was getting angry that she wasn't respecting what I was telling her I needed. Like, this is really important for me, and she kept going, anyways, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, please, like, just respect, like. And it was like, had just say you respected that from get-go, it probably would have maybe all resolved quick.
Then we had an initial big first conversation where we kind of, like, blah 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 blah. Then again, a bit of, like, you know, space, but, like, not angry sad space, just kind of, like, space, distance, like, distance there. And making an effort, like, you know, like, the two of us just have had to, like, slowly make an effort to, like, very slowly just, you know, if you're liking a picture and leave a little comment, or, like, send a little message, or, like, you know, just, like, they post something, then you reply with a question, like, little things like that. And then, like, the odd call and stuff like that, just, like, catching up and stuff like that. But you know, and it takes a long time to rebuild. You're like rebuilding a house that has been shattered down, and you're getting all the bricks and putting them all together again.
And some of them are broken. So you've got to get some glue. Shove it in.
Yeah. I was saying this to Jessie earlier on, but like, there's one thing that's really, really important to me in patching a relationship back together, and it's like, if something happens, it's forgiveness, and also like not throwing that back in each other's faces, you know, and like constantly going back, because every bad relationship I've ever had that has gone really sour has been consistent, that on both ends, like, well, you did this, and what about that happened, and like, and that was actually like, before my husband and I got married, like, you know, there was one thing that I kept bringing up from, you know, that happened, you know, before we were even official in a relationship. I just kept going back to it. And we had a sit down one night. We were like, we can't be happy if we don't move on and just accept. Like, you have to have like a level of like just acceptance of what happened. And, you know, this is you're going to a new phase of relationship. I never even think about that thing anymore, because I looked him bang in the eye and I was like, look, like, we just had the whole conversation and stuff like that. And it's hard. It's so hard. But there was other things then, like, you know, we had a big, huge blow up fight, and like, I was drunk, and like, he has never thrown that in my face. He has never been like, well, you know, because I made commitments of steps, you know. I was like, I'm going to therapy, I'm going to give up drinking, like, you know, and we've been so happy, like we are so well functioning for it. So it is possible to salvage a relationship if you really want to. If you don't want to, you won't. That's just what I believe. And
because it does take a lot of time and energy and effort, and like as you say, like forgiveness, and kind of like, just like, a lot of people mightn't be able to do that, like, you know, because it can be tricky, and like, a lot of the time you kind of will have to put your feelings aside to be like, look, you know, it's don't, like, we just move forward, like, you know, even if you might be could be stewing on something, like, do you know what I mean? Like you were saying, like, now you don't think of that, whereas prior you could have been like,
it was resentment. It's like, resentment is just one of those, it's a negative emotion that can ruin relationships. Like, this is the thing, sometimes something so bad will happen that you can't get over it. For some people will not be able to get over certain things depending on their own history of trauma or whatever, and that's just, you put a line in the sand.
I think that's also what happened with us, like it was like a trigger for me too. Do you get me? Yeah. So it actually went way past just it being this, you know. It was like, okay,
I love you. I love you so much. And like, I have so many good memories with you. Like, when we'd had that fall now, I kept looking back at videos of like us in Venice and us in Iceland.
I couldn't.
Like, I was just sitting there like constantly, just because I was just waiting for us to be sorted out. And like, I just desperately wanted, like, I think that's it. It's like, I felt again, we both had different feelings on it. Like, my feelings at the time were just kind of like, we need to just sort this out, because I just feel like life is so short, and I've lost so much time with people before, and I just can't do it. And I was like, I am losing memories with he's not gonna be a baby, he's gonna be a toddler when we're having memories, you know. I couldn't see it from your point of view, because we couldn't fucking meet up, we couldn't be together. Like, we just got a few texts back and forth, and then that was it. We just stopped talking. And like, I just really wish like that hadn't happened when there was restrictions on travel and stuff like that. Like, it just is so, but it is what it is, you know.
It is what it is.
Do you have any final words, or give a little update about your life there, about where you're at now, and
so
let's just speed through the past couple of years that you've missed so we can get back to normal.
So I'm back living at home now with my parents, and I'm in a very, very, very happy relationship, the healthiest relationship I've ever been in. And
he is so lovely. We're all going for food soon.
He's on his way up at the minute. And yeah, he's from someone from my past. Like, we were together years ago, like we kissed 9 years ago, and then 3 years later we were together again, and then we rekindled back in December. Oh no, I love him so much.
She really
I
does.
just love him so much, like, and he's just
I used to get texts and she'd be like, Jamin was looking at my Instagram stories last night.
Okay, right, so listen, he, like, so, because, like, after what had happened with us, like, prior, like, we didn't follow each other, like, I didn't follow him, and then he obviously didn't follow back. Every day, he'd be on my Instagram looking at my stories, so he was typing my name in, and I'd be sending him screenshots, and I'd be actively looking to see if he was looking, like, it was just, like,
I was always going to
holy
be.
show.
Thomas was always around as well in my peripheral vision.
Yeah.
I could see him.
And
I was always around in his.
Every single time I was single, Jamin would reach out. Like, he'd be like, I'm still here.
I'm so happy for you, and it's just so nice for me to know that there's like a good man looking after you, you know, and I know that someone in a relationship isn't going to come and like put a bandage on your issues and mental health stuff. Like, that's something you were working on.
No, but it's nice for someone to hold your hand while you do it. Yeah,
that's it. Like, I've always wanted you to be with someone who's gonna, like, you know, fucking cuddle you
just
when
hold
you need a
me,
cuddle.
yeah.
Just hold me. And yeah, so Jessie is doing therapy as well, which she's talked about on her channel.
So I'm doing like a year-long therapy course. So I started that last December, and I have 2 sessions a week. So of like a group session, then individual, and actually today is my first day off antidepressants.
Yes.
So big moves.
Big moves.
Big moves. And yeah, therapy is going really well, and it's probably like the best thing that I've ever done for my mental health. I was actually crying to my therapist last week because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do when this ends.
Oh, Jess.
And she was like, oh, like, there's other therapies we could do. I was like, yay.
It's definitely seems to be helping you, like, and because like sometimes she like talks to me about things she's learned in her therapy, and like she just seems so passionate about it while she's talking about it. When you were talking to me about like the thoughts thing and like observing your thoughts, like they're on a conveyor belt and stuff like that, like, and I just felt so happy like seeing you explaining that and stuff. But yeah, what else? Like, yeah, when we weren't talking, like, I'd bought Jessica like a Christmas present. I made like a box of like little things for her, like just little things like, you know, an anti mug,
I
just
got
like
a
books
month ago.
and necklaces and things like that. But yeah, we went so long without talking that like I didn't see her and stuff like that, and it was a Christmas present that she only got about a month ago. And not that we weren't talking up until a month ago, but like I was waiting to see her, and then I ended up like
in person.
She had like a bad day or something like that, and I wanted to open it on camera because there was a couple of things in it, like a couple of books that I thought would like, you know, make a big difference for her. And yeah, I opened it, I filmed myself like unboxing it, and I was sobbing in the video, remember?
This is one of the books.
I
brought it with me.
It's so good.
In 2 days I read...
Oh, you're highlighting stuff.
Oh yeah, like, look.
I
mean this seriously, like.
It's such a good book. There's this
Lost
one,
Connections.
Lost Connections. The other one is
Reasons to Stay Alive.
Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. And
I fucking freaked out. He liked our photo on Instagram yesterday.
Yeah, he follows me. It made me so happy when I saw you follow me, because
Matt?
Yeah, he started following me actually on Twitter like ages,
and
like
look,
years ago.
He has like a little review here. Brilliant, stimulating, radical.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, there you go. But yeah, he's brilliant. He's an amazing writer and mental health advocate on social media, and I really want. I know, like, you're not mad into reading, but I really wanted you to, like.
Oh no, like, I really
read them,
enjoying that.
I was like bawling in the video, and I was like, because I just feel, you know, when you have a baby, like, you just feel like kind of helpless if you've got like younger siblings and stuff, because you're not able to be actively be there as much in their life, like, and I now that he's like older and like easier to manage and sleeping better, like, I want to be more in your life there for you.
And then you'll pop out another one and it'll all start again.
I would have done it to save this relationship. Like, I would have wanted us to go to therapy. I would have like been like Googling all of the videos on like how to, you know, things to sort out an argument and stuff. But it is literally just like being honest, open, vulnerable, listening to the other person,
being open to making up.
Yeah, you have to want to actually fix things. Anyway, I think my baby needs to nap now, so we have to go. But Jessie, it's Jessie. She's back. Jessie
And
B.
We filmed a little video on my
Yeah,
channel
we
too.
did a video all about ending up with men when you're
Bisexual.
and out. And so I'll link that down below. Comment things you'd like to see us
Because we're
create
going to
together.
be filming more together now.
Yeah.
And hopefully with some less tears.
Jessie.
I love
loves
how
crying.
the first half of the video is crying, the second half is
You're
fine.
fine.
You think it'd be the other way around.
No, but these are healing though. These
that's
videos.
true. It's like a therapy conversation.
It is,
yeah.
and I always felt like filming together like brought us closer together, because by the end of the videos, like, we would have talked about a lot of things that we wouldn't talk about.
But we wouldn't have
without filming.
time
Yeah.
because of Thomas, baby,
Like,
like...
in a video, you smush so much chat into like a small little compact. Anyway, I'm gonna go.
Thanks for
Leave a
watching.
comment. Let us know what you'd like to see. Thumbs up for Jessie being back on my channel, and go subscribe to her too, because she's great. And I'll see you again in another video very soon.
Bye.